Well, thank you everyone for joining today's webinar, making the most of your membership. I hope you will find this presentation very helpful. We have a very vibrant AIA chapter here in Santa Barbara. And a lot of the things that we do, maybe you're not familiar with. We're hoping by the end of the presentation, you get a picture of who we are and what we do. First of all, I want to introduce myself. My name is AIA. I'm the president of AIASB this year. You will get to know quite a few of us throughout the presentation. But in the beginning, I would love to introduce you a couple of people so you can get familiar with. First one is Elena Frazier. Elena is our vice president. She will be the moderator today, just that you know. Another familiar face that everybody know of is Tara Rizzi. She is our executive director, and she's the go-to person should you have any questions about AIASB. Okay, we to respect everybody's time, as we have a lot of material to go through, we would like to kindly ask you perhaps hold your questions during the presentation. You could either enter your questions in the chat box during the presentation, or we have about 15 minutes time for question and answers towards the end of the session. So that's how we're gonna proceed today. First of all, we'd like to thank today's sponsor, Cornell Collective, to make our presentation possible. So thank you, our sponsor. So we have hopefully break the ice. If not, I have a suggestion that we will have a couple of interesting questions to pose on you, just to sort of go through the background of our chapter. So this is we came up with 3 questions. I went through it. I got 3 of them wrong myself. so for you to answer those 3 questions, it's just for fun. There's no no credit to learn or no finger pointing. And you can answer true or a false in the chat box, so we can kind of get a feeling of where we are. So here are 3 questions. 2 of them are true and 1 of them is false. So if you can take a minute to look at this, and in the chat box, you could just answer which one is not true. So it's either 1 or 2 and 3. Let me see how you guys do. At any rate, you will do better than me. So, okay, we have 1, 3, 1 so far. Okay, wow, this is very impressive. Wow. Elena, you didn't leak out the question beforehand,
no,
did you?
that wouldn't be fair. I should get this right since I wrote them. So.
Okay. All right. Oh my gosh, this is very impressive. If you answer 3, you are correct. AIA was founded in 1857. And in 1867, they had the first national conference in New York. I can't remember that far back, but I think that is correct, what I said. And AIA Santa Barbara chapter was founded in 1929. And before 1929, there is only one chapter in Southern California, which is Los Angeles chapter, basically. And all the chapters belongs to this Los Angeles chapter. And in 1929, Santa Barbara chapter, alongside with Ventura chapter and San Luis Obispo chapter, separated from Los Angeles chapter and become one Central Coast chapter. And I think in 1965, San Luis Obispo and Ventura chapter have become their own chapter. And Santa Barbara remained as Santa Barbara County chapter. That's 1929. Okay, the last question, Luta Maria Riggs. She's a very, very famous architect. She has a lot of beautiful projects in town. And she was elected AIA Santa Barbara president twice. Once is in 1941. The second time is 1953. I guess this is mostly before us, before we became members of AIASB. So I am very, very, very proud to be part of AIASB all these years. So having said that, we'd like to get going with today's presentation. I hope you enjoy it. So we're gonna have Elena do the following presentation. Elena?
Yeah, hi again, everyone. As I mentioned, I'm currently serving as Vice President of the chapter here. And I've served on the board of directors. I guess this will be my 3rd year. I also became a member at the same time. So I'm actually a relatively new member to the chapter. And as Ty mentioned, I'm going to start by just kind of doing a really probably too fast summary of some of the benefits that we are sort of most excited to share with everyone, and then we'll jump into a little bit more in depth in what some of our committees are doing, which is really where a lot of the action and activities take place. And we have either committee chairs or other sort of dedicated committee volunteers here to talk to you about all of that today. And so thank you all for being here to do that. I thought I would just start with a few quick statistics that are kind of interesting to know about our chapter and how it fits in, at the sort of state and national level. So AIA National has approximately 90,000 members currently. Of that, around 11,000 are members from California, and currently our chapter has around 258 members. We have 4 different member types. So we have around 126 licensed architect members, around 68 allied members. And for those who are not familiar, allied refers to sort of associated fields that are related to architecture, but not architects. So engineers, contractors, product reps. and the like. We have around 36 associate members, and associates are those who are emerging professionals, not licensed yet, but on the way towards licensure. And then we have emeritus members as well, who were former architect members and no longer practicing, but still members. We're actually the 10th largest chapter in the state, which I find kind of incredible given how small Santa Barbara is, relatively speaking. We have 15 fellows to our chapter name, past and present. We have a 21 director board. We have one very amazing executive director who was introduced earlier, Tara Rizzi, 13 committees, one chapter house, and boundless devotion to service. So that's a little bit about our chapter. Everything that we do is guided by our mission statement, which is actually an evolving statement. We've just recently sort of refreshed it, and it's here on the screen. I'll just read it out loud. So the chapter, we serves our members, the profession of architecture, and the community by promoting design excellence, professional development, education, and environmental and social equity. And that's sort of further guided by our 5 top priorities or goals to: 1, cultivate equity, diversity, and inclusion; advance climate action and environmental sustainability; educate the community and our membership; advocate for positive change in the built environment; and promote design excellence and local expertise. So again, everything that we're doing is at the service of these sort of goals. When people ask me, why should I join? What does membership provide? This is the list of what I think are pretty potent and powerful sort of verbs and actions, if you will, that that membership supports. And you can see it's quite varied. And I would say that personally, I think the last one that I've got on the list here is sort of my own sort of most valued benefit of membership, which is being part of a group of people that allows you to have an impact on the profession beyond what we do, in our daily work. And that's been for me really the thing that I've most enjoyed and most valued during my 3 years as a member of our chapter. In addition to all of the many and varied programs and resources and events that AIA National and AIA California put on, that obviously as a member you're able to take part in either for free or at a reduced cost. Here in Santa Barbara, we put on a lot of programs and events as well. So this is a sort of a quick overview of some of our major programs. Weekly we put out a newsletter with chapter and regional events and information that we think our members would be interested in. Monthly, we offer continuing education webinars on a variety of topics that helps obviously with learning units for licensure or just general sort of professional development. There's a women's conversation group each month. So we have a, women in architecture group that meets and offers sort of professional advice and support. Committee meetings happen regularly each month. Emerging professionals have a study group. We'll hear more about that later as well. We meet regularly with city and county staff on a variety of local issues that, impact our work. And then we also have a representative from our board of directors who meets once a month with the state chapter, sort of making sure that we're staying connected with whatever events or goals or things are happening at the state level. So they hear from us and we hear from them. Annually, we do 4 general meetings. Again, those are one of our biggest gatherings, and we usually have really interesting guest speakers who attend those. Design awards is something that we do every year now, as well as the Luda Marie Riggs Award. Architect tours is another one of our major programs. So most of you are probably familiar, but if not, that's where we, a selection of some of the of new projects that have been built in town are opened up for public touring. This year, we're doing a virtual version of that, which should be really interesting. And then lastly, grassroots. So that's in the same way that we sort of connect monthly with our state chapter. Grassroots is a national convention that allows our chapter to sort of connect with what's going on nationally. And then lastly, we have, lots of special events that sort of come and go. And most recently was the Santa Barbara Design Charrette, which hopefully everyone has heard about, and was a really impressive effort by this organization. I wanted to touch quickly on allied membership benefits. I think we might have at least one allied member on the call here today, or on the Zoom, I should say. And so, our allied members receive all the same benefits as our architect members, and additionally, we offer some other opportunities to kind of reach out to and make contact with our members, so that they can learn about their services or products. And so if there's further questions on those specifics, you can reach out to Tara about that. I wanted to quickly show you our website. So I encourage everyone to, see if I can get it open here. Here we go. Encourage everyone to spend some time here. I'll admit that I didn't really ever visit our chapter's website until I'd been a member for a couple years, and was really surprised at the abundance of information that we have here, and it's constantly updated. Our committees are updating information here regularly. There's new event information, etc. So I won't spend a lot of time, showing everything that's here, but I really encourage those who want to know more and are looking for something that I'd be surprised if you didn't find what you were looking for here. And then I also wanted to just quickly flash this document, which many of you may have already seen. So this is a benefits guide that AIA National puts out. I'll put the links both to our website and to this document in the chat box right after I stop talking. But this document, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, has this really incredible directory. And these are all hyperlinks to just an enormous and varied list of resources and groups and events, documents, etc., that National is working on constantly. So again, this is a really good sort of summary of benefits that are offered at the national level that I think is important for people to be aware of. So again, I'll share this link shortly. And then I wanted to mention again, we mentioned the chapter house. We've got one of them here in town. This is on Victoria Street. And you'll, on any given day, you'll usually find Tara there. Her office is located there. You're welcome to stop in and say hello. There's also a gallery space, which we use for meetings and events, and is a resource that's available for members as well to host events. There's a really nice patio out back. There's a kitchen. So we also have that available to members for anything related to the chapter. I have a few slides about the sort of finances. I think there's always questions about, well, where do my dues go? What is my membership fees pay for? So I've got a quick little summary on both at the national level and then our chapter level, looking at sort of income and then how that's spent. So at the national level, around 25% of the total income comes from membership dues. And around 80% of all the income goes directly towards supporting member benefits, which include, advocacy work at the national level or state level, professional development, conferences, and then also direct support to the various chapters like ourselves. Here's the summary for our local chapter here. About 30% of our income comes from membership dues, and about 60% of all of that income goes towards directly towards member events and benefits and educational services. And then these three are kind of my own personal bottom lines, if you will. So I, again, what I've learned in the 3 years as a member of the chapter here is that you get as much as you give with your membership. So, stay active, stay connected, get involved. And I think, I'm continually surprised by how many opportunities and resources our chapter and its members have to offer. So moving on, or in the spirit of getting involved, I guess I should say, we wanted to give a few of our sort of bigger and more active committees a chance to introduce what they do to everyone. As I mentioned previously, we have 13 total committees that are working on a variety of different things at different times. I think first today we're going to hear from Paul Rupp about the Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Committee, which is a relatively new committee for our chapter. I think it was just started last year or in 2020. Paul can correct me if I'm wrong, but Paul is a longtime member of our chapter. He currently serves on our board of directors and is also a committee member. So take it away, Paul.
Good evening or good afternoon, everybody. I represent a very large active committee, and I'm not actually the chair. I'm one learning the most from my participation in the committee for issues that I haven't been attuned to. I've been a member of the AIA for about 30 years, about 2 decades here in Santa Barbara. And the committee I represent is chaired by Laura, and then I also represent Amy, Dana, Elizabeth, Morgan, then Nana, and some other committee members. And we are starting this committee to support the national initiative. And it is a very young committee because our youth are very attuned to social issues and issues of equity and inclusion. So the 3 main things the committee supports and is focusing on is drawing attention to the essentially important issues of inclusion, diversity, and equity in both our world, and then helping our local AIA members to understand how these attitudes can affect things positively or negatively if we're not aware of the negative implications of the attitudes we hold. The second thing is we're helping members understand the necessity of a continued commitment to promoting inclusion, diversity, and equity, and providing guidance on how firms can best take positive strides in supporting these good initiatives. And then lastly, embracing our existing Mentor Emerging Professionals program, which our chapter has a very active and successful one, promoting the profession amongst our young, and then embracing that to reach out to underserved communities, to develop young talent that our local firms need, and also bring in people with different backgrounds and life experiences that can create really great richness in how our firms do their work and the content of our work, that it's responsive to the needs of a diverse community that is getting more diverse nationally and also locally. And as a group, we're being positive about the opportunities that this represents, because the AIA nationally traditionally has not been tremendously diverse, and it's a great opportunity to bring a lot more people from different backgrounds and diverse communities into the profession, so they know it's available to them, they can participate in it, and then they also obviously are our clients and our community members that inform our projects. And so that's a summary of what the committee's doing, and we highly recommend anybody join us, because we're both learning the best practices from all the resources we can find, but also learning about the issues ourselves, since this is kind of a newly articulated and distinguished issue nationally, and we'd love to have really positive outcomes locally and have the AIA Santa Barbara serve as a local leader in taking advantage of those great opportunities. Okay, there's the summary. Elena, thank you.
Thanks a lot, Paul. And before I let you go, I'm asking everyone, I skipped Ty. I'm going to come back to you, Ty. Everyone is presenting today to kind of share what your, on just personally what your most valued sort of membership benefit is, if you don't mind sharing that with us. Paul, you're muted.
Oh, you're asking me. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I thought you were
Still
asking
on the
Ty.
spot.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no, sorry.
Okay. All right. And my most valued is that I think that collaboration, both on a firm scale, on a project scale, but also community scale. What I value most in our local chapter is my main mentor, who mentored me for 45 years, said, I do not have competitors, I have colleagues. And that is what I experience in the Santa Barbara chapter. I get help, assistance, insight, encouragement, inspiration from all of our membership. And it's some of the most valued communities that I participate in. And particularly through the mentorship program, the young of our community, their talent, their commitment, their passion, their skills, their just commitment to making a greater society really provides me continued inspiration.
Thanks, Paul. All right, next we're going to hear from Sarah Lack, who's our current chair of the Emerging Professionals Committee and also serves on our board of directors.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah. I'm a co-chair of the Emerging Professionals with Vandana as well. So she is currently leading our study group, which I'll touch on in a bit. So we have a pretty large group of people, actually. So a lot of people don't know, but Emerging Professionals is defined by the AIA to include people who are licensed under 10 years. So that actually captures quite a bit of people. Our most active members are unlicensed people studying for the AREs, but we do have quite a few licensed architects as well. So the main kind of thing that we offer is a study group. So pre-pandemic, we met in person once a week. We also have a fairly large library. People have donated resources in the past, and we've been able to purchase some as a group. So we share those and go over questions together. Right now we're meeting virtually, but hopefully sometime later in the year we can either do a hybrid approach or start meeting in person again. Another thing that we do is networking opportunities. So we usually do 1 or 2 events a year that are social happy hours. Those have been pretty much on hold during the pandemic. It's hard to get excited about a virtual happy hour, but we're really excited once things open up back again. We plan on hosting one later in the summer, and those have been really nice. It's just a great opportunity to meet colleagues throughout the community and really just share experience. And then a third thing that we have is a study material library. So this is tied to the study group, as I mentioned, and we have flashcards, sample test, just a lot of books. So this currently travels with the co-chair of the study group. So me and Vandana So if you're interested in checking something out, you just reach out to us. Once things open back up again, we'll be moving the library to the AIA chapter house so that it's easier to check out materials. And then personally, my most valued membership benefit would, similar to Paul, I think, is just the opportunity to network and collaborate with other local professionals. So I moved to Santa Barbara about 3 years ago now, and joined AIA, and I didn't really know anyone else in the area. And I became a part of the study group, and then I actually studied for all the exams with 2 other colleagues, and we passed all of them together. So it's kind of a really neat way to bond with people in the area and just share experiences and have design discussions and just get to know other architects who you may not have an opportunity to meet otherwise.
Thanks, Sarah. Thanks for sharing that story. That was nice. Okay, moving on to our advocacy committee. We have Dedi here today to tell us a little bit more. Dedi's a co-chair of that committee, a longtime member of our chapter, and also serving on our board of directors. Thanks for being here today, Dedi.
Thank you, Elena, and thank you so much for really underscoring the value of membership in this organization. It just really shows what an incredible organization it is and how valuable it is to us as individual practitioners, but also as a collective profession. You know, it's really exciting. I've been a member since 1984 and never looked back. So that probably speaks for itself in terms of my valuing my membership in the organization. So I want to speak just briefly on what we've been doing with the advocacy committee, and I think most of you already know because we had just a banner year last year with the design charrette. So many of you participated and produced just a tremendous body of work that we bestowed upon our community as volunteers who care about this community, and not only as individual architects, but as an organization that is really an intricate part of this community and how its physical environment is shaped and will continue to be shaped into the future. So from that, we have continued to be very active and continue to try to provide service to our members by, taking the 3 points that we have up in front of us here. Advocating for appropriate new housing standards in the city is very important, particularly since, as we all know, the state has declared a housing crisis, and many of us are at effect of that even. As price of housing continues to skyrocket and rental rates continue to skyrocket, and makes it difficult for our employees to find housing that they can afford and all that. So this is a really important thing to make it possible and easier in our community to get the housing built that we need. So we advocate for those standards in the city. Building the AIA and its members' credibility with the City Council. As you know, with the design charrette and with so many of the other activities we undertake, we often find ourselves representing the organization at the City Council and building the relationship and the credibility of our organization and the value of the work that we do with our community leaders. So I think that's a really important function, so that when we do work, even as individual practitioners, we have the power and the backing of the organization, the credibility of the organization, AIA, behind us. And then, of course, we all experience the frustration involving getting anything permitted, getting through the entitlement process. Even getting a building permit can be a certain form of torture at times. I think the people who right, the regulations never sleep. They're always coming up with something new, so things become ever more complex. But we want to also help our members and the profession by advocating for common sense regulation that really work, that help to streamline the process, make it easier for our clients to achieve the goals that they want to within the context of our city's vision, I guess you could say. And so that's another really important feature. You know, we've done some work with the building department trying to articulate some of the concerns and issues that our members are facing, getting projects permitted. And I think we've been effective in that arena, just getting our voices heard and advocating for more sensible process and regulations, et cetera. So currently, we're still continuing to work on all kinds of things. One of the really important and interesting things is this new approach to our zoning ordinance, implementing floor area ratios, FARs. There's pretty much a fairly well thought out proposal on the table right now to revamp those building size regulations. And I think the staff is doing a great job, and we've been working closely with them, in some cases creating some exhibits to help illustrate some of the ideas and the kind of dynamics of those regulations, et cetera. We're actually had a meeting yesterday with the consultants that have been hired to analyze the FAR program and determine whether or not it's actually going to provide incentives to get housing built, or whether it ends up being kind of more of a barrier or an inadequate ordinance. So that's a really important function that we can have just from our experience and knowledge of the community to add and help the consultants do that analysis that'll be brought back to the City Council in a few weeks. We had some input on the State Street Promenade, really taking off the vision that was created in the design charrette, but also the city's concern about creating some design guidelines for the parklets as the State Street Promenade continues to be open to pedestrians, et cetera. It was a little bit of a brouhaha there because I think our participation in that was misinterpreted, misunderstood, and somehow we were, I guess you could say, thrown under the bus for what was perceived as advocating for some of these parklets to be removed, et cetera, which was absolutely not the case. And we did go to the trouble of writing a letter and reaching out to concerned business leaders and of course our city leaders, city council members, to make it clear that that is, we fully support our business community, and we advocate for maximum flexibility in transitioning to a more regulated process for allowing these parklets to continue to exist and be built into the future. So that was an important activity of ours as well. In the future, we're kind of slowing down a little bit for the next maybe a month or so, just because it is summer and people are going on vacation, things like that. So we're probably going to go to a meeting every couple of weeks rather than the weekly meetings that we've had. But we are planning a candidates forum. We certainly believe that that is a valuable effort on our part. We will be partnering with a couple of other organizations to put that on. Coastal Housing will be one of the organizations, and then APA, the Planning Association, will be another partner. And it'll just give an opportunity for the public to hear what the candidates stand for, what their vision is for the future, et cetera. And I think that'll be a very interesting and exciting event, and hopefully everyone will participate. We're still in the planning stages, so we will continue to plan that in the next month or two. And then we do have a new community development director, Elias Isaacson, And, you know, this is a really important position in the city, especially vis-a-vis our work as architects and certainly our work as an organization. So we want to build that relationship, you know, very early on, and collaborate with the new director, and you know, determine what his priorities are and how we as an organization can support that and help. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot of state legislation also that we're monitoring, and you know, we'll continue to hopefully provide information to our members, and possible advocacy at the state level as well, and you know, in conjunction, of course, with the state organization. So that's a lot of stuff, and it's very exciting. And we welcome you know, any of you to participate or bring forward concerns, issues, things that affect us as architects and our profession, that we can advocate for. So yeah, I'm excited to continue on with this great effort.
Thanks, Diddy. Yeah, the advocacy committee is definitely has a full plate for sure. So appreciate all of your efforts. If you don't mind sharing your most valued membership benefit, just as you know, on the personal side of things, that'd be great.
Yeah, thank you. You know, that is a great question, and I think Paul and Sarah have already said it very well for the most part. But you know, I value certainly the collegiality, the collaboration, just getting to know one another, and I certainly, as you've just heard, value our ability to you know, to be an influence in our community for positive change, etc. But I think if I kind of distill it down, I would say I value the power of our organization, to leverage that power for the not only for the benefit of our members, but for the benefit of our community, to make the world a better place. And that's, I think, probably the thing that I value most. It's just the ability to do that as an organization that has respect and credibility, not only in our community, but nationwide.
Yeah, second that. Thanks, Debbie. All right. Last but certainly not least, we're going to hear briefly from Dee Carawan, who's co-chair of our sustainability committee. Also another committee similar to EDI that has really sort of refreshed and is gotten a lot more active over the last year, thanks in a big part to Dee and her co-chair Ed DeVicenti, who couldn't join us today. So Dee, go ahead and tell us a little bit more about Sustainability Committee.
Hi, my name is Dee, and before I even joined the AIA, I attended the hard hat tours for years, and I was always so impressed by how open everybody was and how open they were to sharing. And so when I finally joined and became a member, I directly went to the Sustainability Committee because climate action is my highest priority. And I would say the best benefit of our Sustainability Committee is working with Ed DeVicenti and Paul Poirier, who have years and years of experience with sustainable architecture, with high performance building. Currently, the things that our committee are working on the most are developing best practices so that we can better our building methods for detailing materials and construction methods. Also, Ed has been putting together a training series for selling high performance building, the value of high performance building to clients, which is often one of our biggest challenges. And we were able to do a virtual hard hat tour this year of a high performance building. So those are kind of the largest things we've been working on. And then to wrap up my most valued membership benefit, it's definitely working with the whole committee. We all have various emphasis that we are all focusing on, but we do have that umbrella of sustainability. And also I've been able to contribute to writing articles for The Independent. So I'm able to give a voice to the things that I'm concerned about and I want to bring to the attention of the general public. So thank you, Alana.
Great, thanks, Dee. I just thought quickly I'd flash, each of these committees that we've heard from today, as well as others, again, back to sort of this website resource. Each committee has its own web page or various pages and again, that are constantly updated with new information, events. So again, I just encourage everyone, if you want to know sort of what's happening with any of the committees, that's something that you can find here on our website as well. So nearing the end here, I wanted to quickly introduce another, so committees, again, a great way to get involved. Also, really where a lot of our efforts and action is taking place in the chapter. So encourage everyone to join a committee. And another way to sort of get involved and really lead and guide the efforts of the chapter are by joining our board of directors. So I mentioned previously, we have a 21 director board. Directors serve 1-year terms every year. If you're a member, you'll get an email that looks something like this. Call for nominations, nominate yourself to be on the board. This is the current board with our executive committee here on the left, and that blank red square for you, whoever's next. So again, just another way to really, if you're really interested in sort of being a leader in the organization here, that's an opportunity that's out there for all members. So I think that brings us to Q&A. I don't know if anyone's put a question in the chat. It looks like not, but can do that, or if anyone just wants to speak out, we're all here to answer any questions that people may have. All right.
So, Elena, is it time for me and Tara to keep our personal experience joining?
Sure. Yeah, let's do that. Thanks for reminding me, Ty.
Please.
That would be great. I think that's a great way to conclude. I think you had maybe 1 or 2 other concluding comments as well, but please do so. Yes.
Okay, so I think I joined the board about 5-6 years ago, being a volunteer. I enjoy to be a volunteer, not just with AIASB, it's with whatever organization I participate in. Being a volunteer has its advantage. The volunteering takes me to meet people and go to places, and it has been very valuable for me. When I first joined the AIASB, for me, it's just another volunteer opportunity. What I did not expect is to run into all these beautiful people, but really impressed me. Until today, every day I was impressed and finding out how profound this organization is, more so than any other organization I have been. The other reason that benefit that I found out after I joined the AIASB is that I started my career when I was very young and started a business. And I don't know what happened for the next 35 years. It went by very, very quickly. Though I have been very busy, I missed the opportunity to really involve and engage and learn from other talented architects. And these past few years, it really hit home with me that when I have questions and things that I don't know, and this is a place that I go to. I ask questions and here are the answers, and people reaching out to me just to want to help me. And this is so amazing, such a beautiful place. So this is my involvement, why I involved myself with AIASB all these years, is that you really get more than you may have expected it by being a part of it. So thank you.
Thanks, Ty. Were there any other concluding comments that we had before we head out? Guess not.
Okay.
So, well, thanks everyone who joined today, committee chairs, members, potential new members. We hope this was informative, and reach out to any or all of us with any questions you might have in the future. All right, have a good day, everyone. Thanks again.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Elena. This is very, very educational. I truly enjoyed this session, and everything you mentioned here is true and very valuable for each one of us. And so we thank you. Again, we want to thank our sponsor today, Cornell Collective, for being the sponsor of this event. And also just two quick announcements. One is that our architect tours is coming up on October 2nd, and the tickets for sale starts on August 9th. So watch out for the newsletter announcement. And also Design Awards is coming back this year. The gala reception is on December 2nd. And for Design Award, the registration, the early bird registration is gonna be starting on July 16th, next week. And the registration will close on August 6th. So the submission deadline is August 31st. So if you have projects you want to submit, these are the dates you want to remember. So thank you so much for being a part of AIASB today. And we are looking forward to seeing you more often from now on. And hopefully, if you're considering becoming a member, you can contact Tara or Elena or myself to answer any more questions that you may have. So have a nice day and then a great weekend, and we will be seeing you soon. Thank you, everyone.
Everybody.
Bye.
Bye.